It's a bright Saturday in November, so I thought I'd go for a walk around the Docklands area of London. Where is it? Well, it's east of the city and the main tourist traps. It's actually a financial district and part of a regeneration that took place over several years. Join me. To get there, I'm going to take the Docklands Light Railway. Walk on the correct side, people. Is that front seat empty, I wonder? Well, yes, it was empty, and yes, I took it. So where exactly are we heading? Today we're exploring the incredible story of the West India Docks. How they were built, how they served London's trade, how they declined, and how this area was transformed. Over on the right, sorry I can't do anything about the dirty window. You can just make out the Olympic Stadium used for the 2012 Olympics. This red thing coming into view is the orbital, which stands in Olympic Park. Up ahead is the ABBA Voyage Arena. I've seen the show twice and it's brilliant. Catch it if you can.
When leaving the train, please remember to take all your belongings with you.
Okay, this isn't the most scenic of journeys, so I think I might speed things up a bit.
Change for the Elizabeth line. On leaving the train, please remember to take all your belongings with you.
We're just about to stop at Canary Wharf station.
When this train terminates, please remember to take all your belongings with you.
Once again, folks, the next stop is Canary Wharf, where this train will terminate. Change their FDR services towards Lewisham by Cross Harbour and Greenwich, by leaving the train down the left-hand side in the direction of travel. Putting a service at platforms 1 and 2. We'll also change London Underground, Jubilee line and Elizabeth line.
had to change trains, so I didn't get the best view, didn't get the driver's view as I wanted on the second train. But I've got here, I've got to cross harbour and go walk back from Millwall Dock, heading north towards all the skyscrapers. And it's looking quite good, it's looking not too busy at the moment. Maybe I can get a coffee along the way, that'd be nice.
Now would be a good time to tell you about where we're heading. The West India Docks are a series of 3 docks on the Isle of Dogs in London. They were created because of the demands of commerce in the late 18th century. A key figure behind them was Robert Milligan, a wealthy West Indies merchant and ship owner who pushed for a dedicated wet dock at London's eastern fringe. In 1799, the West India Dock Company was authorised by the West India Dock Act 1799. This was the first parliamentary act, rather than municipal, for dock building in Britain. Construction came in phases. Between 1800 and 1802, the 2 northernmost docks were built, originally called the Import Dock, later North Dock, and Export Dock, later Middle Dock. These were the first commercial wet docks in London, designed by leading civil engineer William Jessop, with consultant John Rennie the elder and engineer Thomas Morris. Imagine the scale. The import dock alone was about 30 acres of water, the export dock 24 acres, with space for over 600 vessels to berth. To protect cargoes, a brick wall about 20 feet high surrounded the complex. In the 1860s, the southernmost dock, the South Dock, was built, replacing the unprofitable City Canal. Under the leadership of engineer John Hawkshaw and resident engineer George Wives, the extension included warehouses and new docks. This expansion allowed vessels arriving from the West Indies to unload, sail around and load again far more efficiently than the crowded Upper Thames. In 1909, the docks were taken over by the Port of London Authority, but from about 1960 to 1980, the docks trade declined to almost nothing. The 2 major reasons were containerisation and the loss of manufacturing exports in the area. In 1980, the docks closed, and the government took control of the land. The end of their commercial use was a dramatic shift. What once handled huge volumes of shipping became redundant. After closure, the area became part of the broader regeneration of the London Docklands. The early phase of Canary Wharf's development was built out over the water of the North and Middle Docks, which we'll be seeing shortly. Today the docks remain open to smaller ships and craft. The South Dock hosts medium-sized military vessels, and the north side has bars, restaurants and flat conversions. As you walk this area now, you see a mix of heritage and modern. Old dock basins turned into leisure waterfronts, former warehouses converted into homes, and the skyline transformed. The story of the West India Docks is a story of commerce, innovation, decline and rebirth. From the early 1800s pioneering wet docks, through to the decline of the 20th century, and finally to 21st century regeneration, this area has constantly reinvented itself. If you're visiting, like I am, on a leisurely Saturday morning in November, take time to pause at the remnants of the original docks, the warehouse facades, and reflect on the thousands of people who worked here from all over the world. That world has gone now. What remains is an amazing juxtaposition of old and new, something that London and the rest of the UK does very well. That's the end of the history lesson, folks. From now on, I might interrupt occasionally, but let's have a proper look around the area. By the way, I still haven't found a coffee. There are very few places open, and the reason for this is that the Docklands area is London's second financial district, and during the week is full of workers desperate for coffee. At the weekend, some of the areas around the main hub are empty, so cafes and restaurants open later or remain closed. I'm just about to cross South Dock by way of the South Quay footbridge. This is Millwall Dock, and that's the light railway, the train I used to get here.
Acá se le tomó una foto.
I've just entered the shopping centre at Canary Wharf, and I'm looking for coffee and Christmas decorations. Well, according to Starbucks, I'm no longer Michelle, I am Michelle, so I got a coffee and a name change. And there they are. Finally, some Christmas decorations. This is the North Dock and subject of the history lesson we had earlier. On the other side of the dock you can visit the London Museum Docklands, a free museum of history. I've had to mute the volume here because of music being played and potential copyright issues.
I've had my coffee, I've seen some Christmassy stuff, not as much as I'd like. But I'm going to head over to Crossrail Place now and have a look round there, and we'll end the video at that point.
I'm now heading up to the roof garden at Crossrail Place. It's completely free and it's a nice quiet little spot to eat a packed lunch. Thanks so much for joining me on this walk around the West India Docks. If you enjoyed this tour, please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell to find out about more London walks and histories. And if you've been here, tell me in the comments your favourite spot or what struck you the most. Until next time, keep exploring and I'll see you on the next walk.